This is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is
Season 6 of Pero Let Me Tell You. So, mi gente, today with us, we have someone that we know you've probably seen perform live, perform on Instagram, for Only in Dade, maybe at Publix. We don't know.
Maybe in like Dubai.
Maybe in Dubai.
You know, at the Publix in Dubai, actually.
I mean, Dubai Publix has the best pub sub.
That is true.
Yes, it is.
In fact, they call it a pub dub.
We have
anyway.
Well, there you go. You heard him already. We're here with Carlos Hernandez. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
And we finally made it happen because we were having some technical difficulties.
Yes.
I was telling Ish, we never have an issue with our audio, but then tenemos alguien en la casa, visiting us, and se jodió todo.
But this is kind of, I think, part of the course because we've been trying to get you on the show since like last year.
I don't even know.
Cuban Nostalgia. So why would it be easy?
Oh, it shouldn't be easy. I don't want it to be easy. At this point, I feel like people tell you like, oh, you got to be hard to get. So like, you got to play hard to get in general.
Right.
And even the audio is playing hard to get. So I appreciate that.
All of it.
But I'm super happy to be here, guys. Thank you.
Honestly, man, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
We love your comedy.
Thank you very much.
We actually think you're funny. If not, you wouldn't be here.
That's good.
Because God knows there's a lot of local comedians that we don't think are funny.
No,
before we get into the conversation, I just want to say,
okay,
the Instagram algorithm loves you because you constantly pop up.
They do.
All my accounts, in my personal account, the Pedro account, the Bimba Pollo account, my father's account, because I have my dad's account. I have my dad's account on my phone, and I'm like, coño. And it's funny because sometimes, like, I'm like, I already saw this. I'm like, oh, because I'm in another account.
That's funny. That's great. That's good. I'm happy that it does that because sometimes I'm like, I feel like the algorithm sometimes hates me, and I'm happy that at least it works for all of your accounts.
So I think nobody's happy with the algorithm for themselves.
Nobody's happy, but then you hear that and you're like, at least
we cannot figure out the Instagram algorithm, which I guess that's like the biggest bird to cack.
Yeah,
we have actually right before you got here, Ish and I were talking. We have this video that we posted like, I don't know, a month and a half ago, 2 months in early January of afilador in Hialeah. That I took this guy afilador in Hialeah.
Yeah.
When we posted it did well, and then it died down. Then it had a resurgence.
Okay.
Then it had another one, and it's like I don't understand. Like
those are great.
One day it just pops up, and people's like
Did you hashtag anything?
We hashtag a bunch of stuff. But
that's what it is.
But it gets like big chunks of play. So I'm thinking that it's just coming up on people's the feed,
the explore page.
Yeah, the explore page.
Probably.
So
I don't know why that is. I don't know. I've only had a few videos go viral, and then I'm like, oh, it's working, and then you post another one, and it's like, why did I get like 10 likes that I got?
There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, dude. No. I'm still trying to figure out. People think I know what I'm talking about, and I have no idea.
That's all of us.
But you fake it very well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I think, this is how I segue. And I think that's because you're a very successful comedian. Because comedians have to be able to think on their feet.
That's true. Yeah.
So I know you're a Miami boy, but you were born in Mexico.
I was born in Mexico. I lived there for 10 years. Both of my parents are Cuban, and they decided to move to a place they spoke more Spanish. And then they were like, wait, there's a place that speaks even more Spanish and you can make more money and no one like steals your children. And then we came here.
No.
Connecticut.
So your parents chose to move to Mexico.
Yeah. Well, my dad was working in Mexico. My dad had moved from Cuba like in the late 80s. And then he had actually gone there. He started selling tobacco like with a friend of his in Mexico just to get out of Cuba and he found a way out. And then he married like a Mexican woman, not my mother. And he had like children with her, but it was just like a marriage of like kind of just out of convenience in a sense.
Okay.
Did I screw up the audio? I don't know.
No.
This is the most sense. This is my dad being like, "Why? ¿Por qué tú estás hablando eso? That's my dad. And then my mom came to Mexico like to visit for work. She was working in La Ciudad Deportiva de Cuba, and she was doing something in Mexico. And both of my grandparents were like really close friends because they worked in the trains in Cuba. And then my mom's dad was like, "Hey, my daughter's going to Mexico. I know your son lives there. Can he show her around, like take care of her type of shit? Like she's never been outside of the country." And my dad like was like, "Yeah, sure." And they met, they fell in love, and then he like left that woman and basically like went after her mom. Yeah. And then
what a story.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. And then he like married my mom and went to Cuba, like hunted her down. It's kind of creepy if you think about it, but I came out of it. So, hey, thanks, Dad. But,
not everybody has that route that you were, raised born and raised in Mexico to a certain extent.
It's weird because in Mexico, people would think they're like, hey, Cubanito. And then like I got like in here, because I like went to school in Hialeah and I had like a Mexican accent, to be like El Mexicanito, so I just never fit in. You know what I mean? Like in any aspect of it.
That's so interesting. You would have had an accent.
Yeah, of course. I had a Mexican accent.
But it's funny because I'm listening to you and it's like you have the accent that we all have, but not really.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It's like the Miami accent, but with a twist.
Like a little ting.
Yeah,
what does it have? I don't know. People say I have an accent, and then like I know I sound Miami, but people have told me that before too.
Yeah, like it's like Miami by way of.
Exactly. It's not necessarily like you were born here and then you went to like Kendo. Like it's different. Yeah. It's Miami Lakes accent, I think is what it is.
Mexico by way of Miami Lakes.
Basically, dude. And then I moved here when I was like 11. And yeah, I've lived in Miami ever since. I've lived in like, Chicago and New York for like months, just like I did like comedy intensives there when I used to do improv. But Miami's always been like the hometown. Yeah.
So, I mean, you said, you lived in Chicago, you lived in New York, you've done improv, which I respect so hard. Anybody who does improv, because
it's amazing. I love that art form.
It sounds like something like it's easy. You agree and you go with it. It's
right?
No, because you can hit a brick wall very quickly.
It's true. Have you ever taken an improv class? Either of you?
No, but I've always wanted to.
Oh my God, you should. Yeah. I did improv in, Just the Funny, which is like right in Coral Way, 3119. And I did that. I started doing that. Like my comedy journey kind of just started there. I was in FIU. I was studying something completely different. I studied like management information systems and like
that
IT.
Sounds so fun.
It was terrifying. I recently quit my job like less than a year ago. Like that job. But like now, like, I'm all into comedy, but I was about to graduate college and I was like, I kind of hate what I did for 4 years. Cause I really was just doing it to do it. And then I found a class. I was like, do I want to do acting? Do I want to do comedy? I don't even know where to start. And then I looked up a comedy acting class and on Google, like Just the Funny came up. And before that, I had done one acting class at this place called, Miami Acting Studio. And I did that. And I don't even want to like talk crap, but they charge like $300 a month for like, just like recreating a scene of like Along Came Polly. And I was like, I don't think I'm getting much out of this. And it was like people that thought they deserved to be actors that are like very high and mighty, but they were just like kind of attractive, but not really. Cause you know what I mean? So I was like, what the fuck? What am I doing here? And I was 21 at the time. Yeah. 2016, 2017. And I was like, okay, I'm graduating college. Like, I don't like this. What am I doing? And then I found Just the Funny. I took the first class and it was like, it like changed my life. Like I got up on stage.
The first improv class.
Yeah, my first improv class. And it was level 1. And I was just with a bunch of people that want to do this as a hobby, really. They're like, oh, I've heard this is going to help me for public speaking. Which it does, of course. And I was like, nah, this is like what I kind of want to do with my life.
So prior to that, you hadn't realized you wanted to be a comedian, or did you know you knew you were funny, and
I knew I wanted to do some level of comedy. Like I knew like I wanted to do like be an actor and do comedy. I honestly never thought I would do stand up because I just loved improv so much. But then I was like, oh, I gotta make money. So,
aside from Whose Line, no professional improv. Yeah.
Exactly. A few other ones that like tour that only probably like I would know in Miami, like people that like just the improvisers that do it. Shout out to Joe Bill, Dave Rosowski, Stacey Smith. See, you guys don't even know what I'm talking about, but, they're great. But, I did that for 4 years before the pandemic, or 3.5 years, and then the pandemic hit. And then in 2019, like March of 2019, I was like, okay, I kind of gotta do a little bit. I gotta do something. Like I've done this for 3 years. Like I started teaching improv like less than a year before I joined the cast because I was so into it. Like I told my improv teacher the first day, his name was Ian Harris. I was like, yo, dude, the first day of class, I was like, listen, I know everybody here is like having fun and stuff, but like I kind of like, this is what I kind of want my life to be. I didn't know what that meant. Like I just knew I wanted to be funny for a living. And he was like, yeah, me too. Yeah, dude. And then I kind of took it super seriously, and I went balls to the wall. I was like there like 4 times a week, every night. I was like, we had rehearsals, we had shows, and
so that's your origin story.
Yeah, I did.
And then you built up from there.
Yep. In 2019, I jumped. It was at Torres. Have you been to Torres in the Grove? No. It's like one of the oldest bars. It's next to this place called Ariete, which like won like a Michelin star. Like it didn't, not when I started.
That's Ariete.
Yeah.
Well, I know Ariete. I don't know Torres.
It's right next to it. The bar right next to it. In fact, it's owned by the same people. So Torres has like an open mic that's been around forever. That's what I've been told. And in 2019, my friend Albie, who I did improv with for a while with as well. He was like, dude, I'm gonna like jump up and see what's up. And he did. And then like 2 weeks after that, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And I had written like 5 minutes, but like terribly, like they were not good. Like it was just like long and like elongated. Like none of it made sense. But I used like my improv like skills to it. Like I was like rules of threes, like little things that you learn in improv that are just like comedy. Really, it's not just improv. And then I was like, okay, and it went kind of okay. And I was like, oh crap, okay. And then ever since I just like started doing open mics and kept it going and going. And then like the pandemic happened and I kind of had to like figure it out.
That's funny because I feel like, I mean, based on this, you've been doing this for what, maybe 3 years?
Stand up?
Give or take? Stand up?
Technically, if you like not count the pandemic, because I only did stand up in the pandemic, like from January to February. And then from like November to December. And then the rest was 2021, 2022.
And I say that because you seem to have an ease with it when I've seen you, you know, I have never seen you in person, but what I've seen in recording
videos, yeah.
That does not suggest to me 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? It says to me somebody who's just been kind of doing this. Like, I'm just realizing now how young you are.
Yeah.
Comparatively speaking. And it's like, you don't have that unease. You seem very just like, I know what I'm doing.
The thing is, I did improv for free for so long that like it's still stage work and you're still just on stage performing. Like, yeah, you're performing with people, but like I treat it as like I'm on stage, like stage is sacred for me. And I'm going to give my all to whatever it is I'm doing. If it's going to be jokes, and then I'm going to like do crowd work, which I'm using my improv brain to do to then make callbacks to a joke that I already had. Like, and people are like, dude, that's crazy. I'm like, I'm using very simple tactics here that would make it seem crazier, but people are not doing it because they're so focused on like the nitty gritty of the joke. And then like the little things that like kind of are important too for a whole show that I know because I did improv for so long and I directed shows. I was in shows. I literally was doing shows 3 times a week and I was like rehearsing.
Wow.
Like every week.
Right. And you weren't getting paid, you said.
And I wasn't getting paid. It kind of was like just helped me to just be a professional on stage.
You were perfecting your craft.
Of course.
The 10,000 hours. Yeah.
Maybe you didn't realize it, but you were perfecting your craft and your skill.
Right.
So one of the things that I really enjoy about you is that obviously you're very Miami, you're very 305, you know, and something that we've talked about a lot, you know, we've had a lot of comedians on the show. We were mentioning it before we started recording. We had back, I think season 1 or season 2, we had Jamil Piedra.
He's so much better remembering
a pair of nuts
that than I am.
That's great.
As we were saying,
dude, Jamil was like one of the people that they would always reference in Just the Funny because he started in Just the Funny.
Really?
Yeah. But the thing
I recently filmed like a movie with
the
him,
thing with him and Johnny Trap from Pair of Nuts
also
is that they were going viral before going viral was a thing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Like I remember like we would find them on this thing called YouTube and we would hook up the computer through the HDMI.
I'm plugging it to show it to your friends.
We like literally would have like viewing parties.
It's like
hilarious, dude. Yeah, those guys were fucking OGs.
La mayonesa aquello.
Yes, dude.
Listen, to this day, whenever I walk in, if he's like making a sandwich, I'm like, ¿qué estás haciendo? And we're like, un sandwich. And I'm like, con una mayonesa común y corriente. Like,
no,
it's just,
but whether, you know, we've had them, we've had, we told you, Neri Sans, we've had, Orlando Leyva, we had now, we had recently
shout out to Orlando who just did a Tonight Show again.
Yeah, he's awesome. And we had Mario Ramil a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things that we like about all, you know, you guys is that you know, like you and Mario and even Yamil, you keep it very Miami and you keep it very 305 without relying on the same old stereotypes and same old tropes. Yeah. As Mario said, of like La Chancleta and like the vulgarity.
Well, that's not what Mario said. Mario said two other choice words.
What? Well,
he calls it
croqueta? Like
no, Yamil was the one who said it's croqueta chancleta comedy.
It is croqueta chancleta
but Mario was like pinga bollo.
It is that too.
Right. Yeah. Without
I can tell you there's specific comedians that definitely use
it. But you are one of the ones that it's very 305. It's very Miami, unmistakably Miami, but you don't fall to those stereotypes. So is that a conscious decision you make, or does it just comes out naturally, you know, in your comedy?
I just like to feel like I don't want to feel like I'm like a Miami guy doing comedy. I just want to feel like I'm a Latino that happens to be a comedian, or a comedian that happens to be Latino. I'm from Miami, so obviously like there's like specific things that I like say that are very localized, but I try to make them feel like that if I go to New York, like it would still be able to like be digested properly, or like in Austin or something like that. But like obviously I can make a Metro Rail joke in New York or Miami, but like in New York or Austin, I'm sorry. But I would turn the joke of what the premise is, like the concept of it, and use it there, and like use it in a way that it's localized for that.
When you're saying that, I'm thinking right away about your Dubai video. When you're in Dubai and you're comparing it to Miami, you could do that the same thing with other cities.
Other thing, yeah.
Look, obviously, because it's have you seen that one, the Dubai video?
Yeah.
And when I saw that video that you were in, I'm like, coño, the guy made it to Dubai. How is that? How was
Dubai? Dude, I didn't make, people think I don't even know. People are like, how did you make it to Dubai? I literally, started dating, this girl, and she invited me to Dubai because her family just was going to Dubai. She's my girlfriend. She's incredible. Shout out to her.
It's the one I met at.
You met her, yeah.
She's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, she's beautiful. We've been like on and off talking for like a year. And then she was like, "Oh, I'm going to Dubai," and I'm like, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" Oh, okay. But no, for real, it was like an opportunity, and I like knew people there because like people that had come to watch me perform, like somehow I knew somebody that was there. So I even got to like perform at like this private gig on like a Friday night.
Oh, wow.
Like I couldn't even post about it because it was like some bullshit like that.
With the same private big gig Beyonce was in?
Yeah, the same one, dude. I opened for Beyonce. Let's just keep that on the pod. Imagine that, dude. No, yeah, it was like this like weird, it was at this place called The Palm, and they have an actual private comedy club, but they don't even allow phones in it. It's very, like, Dubai's such a weird city. Like, they have very weird rules. We'll talk about it in a sec, or you can come to my show and hear them all. But, yeah, dude, it was a crazy experience. And we were there for it's the longest time I've been out of the country. I was there for like 12 days. So I was like, I'm going to use this 12 days to make content and use my girlfriend's family and just their money to just make some money on Instagram.
But congratulations. Like, that's a big deal. Because
not everybody can find a girlfriend whose family goes to Dubai. So congratulations.
Use that, bro. Yeah, so listen, Yamil didn't have that. Mario didn't have that. Yeah. Like, that's what separates us. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's called ambition.
Correct. Yeah. No, but it's crazy, dude. That video I posted, it took me if you go to my Instagram, all the last 7 posts I recorded in Dubai, and like, it's like, and they've done so well, and I'm like, I didn't even, like, you can't even tell it's in Dubai, like, for some of them, but like, that one was like, okay, I think I have this funny idea, like, a guy that goes to like, these places, and like they're beautiful. Like, like obviously I'm being sarcastic. Right. And the funniest thing about the internet, something goes viral when you start having people arguing in the comments,
Well, they don't get it. Of course.
Oh my God. Because they don't understand that I'm being sarcastic, and they're like, oh, this guy's such a douche. And I'm like, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I'm also playing to the fact that I'm like, there's a lot of people that do this. And I caught myself doing it, like, oh, this is like this. And I'm like, what? It's such a silly concept that people just go to other places to compare it to the place they're from, and especially in Miami.
Yeah.
We do that because we think we're like the best at everything,
right.
And we are in a lot of ways, but it's just the irony of it.
But then it comes, Miami, it comes, especially if you're Cuban, from your Cuban parents.
Of course.
Everything in Cuba was better. Hasta el aire. The sky was bluer.
Right,
the air was sweeter. The grass was greener. And the bread tasted better.
Yeah, we left because obviously, you couldn't eat any of those things or see those things properly.
So, actually, going back a little bit to your origin story, I didn't realize that you were on American Idol.
Oh yeah, yes. That's
right. Okay. Tell us everything about that.
I want to hear that story from beginning to end.
Man, I've said the story.
We gotta know
7,000 times, and I always forget. Like, it's been 2 years actually since that episode aired, like a week ago. So I went on. That was a crazy, ridiculous the story. I went on American Idol. So it was the pandemic. It was October 2020, and I had my friend Josh Randall, who's a producer. He was just starting as a casting producer of the show of American Idol. He's also a comedian, hilarious. He's really funny. He's a musician. He's this guy that has like all these like talents, and then like now he's like casting this show, which like he just got a promotion as like the executive casting producer.
Nice.
I don't want to say I helped, but I hope I did. But yeah, dude. So he hits me up and he's like, dude, I'm casting this show. Like they asked me to look for like specific TV moments, like things that could go viral or things that are like different, that are like out of the ordinary. Is there anything you can think of? And I like, we would always talk, and we even collabed in some stuff in the pandemic. So like we already had each other like in mind to like work together in some way, shape or form. But he lived in LA. He had just moved to LA, like a few months before the pandemic. Or like during the pandemic, he was like, okay, I'm going to move to LA. I don't remember exactly the timeline, but whatever. So he tells me that, and he's like, think of something. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I was like, bro, okay, give me like a week and I'll come up with something. And I was actually like, I don't even remember what I was thinking. Oh, I was doing, that character, Yuri's Bell, which is a character. I started that character during my improv like career. I started that character in this thing we used to do at in Just a Funny called Love Machine. So Love Machine was this game that was purposely used to create characters, and we would even teach it in class. Purposely used to create characters and give them, because obviously in improv you're like kind of supposed to create characters, make them real, believable, like, you know, exactly. So, and I thought of this character was just the simplest, like most Miami ass guy. Like I was just like an improv noob, and it was it was like my level 2 class. And I was like, I mean, I'll just do like a Miami guy, like, you know, like, or like a guy, un recién llegado, like an uncle that like, you know, those Cuban uncles that think they're like the shit, like, hey, all this shit, like, toda la gangarria, like very like guanazo guy, but I'll make him be like a golden retriever, like a super lovable, like guy, like a lovable idiot, like Michael Scott, like he doesn't know, you know what I mean? So I had that character since like 2017. And then I did like Instagram lives with it, like during the pandemic, just cause I was that bored. And I would only get like 10 views. Like I didn't have anything. I had like 2,000 followers at the time. And I did that. And then Josh saw that and he was like, what about this? And I was like, really? And then, I was like, okay. And then we did a Zoom fake audition with him, like him being one of the judges, quote unquote. And then he's like, you got to come up with 3 songs. What are you going to do? And I was like, this guy has to be like a huge Pitbull fan, like the most basic. Of course. You know what I mean? Like, so let's just make him be like a huge Pitbull fan. Even if like, you know, love Pitbull, shout out to Pit. And I did, Fireball. I performed Fireball in front of him, and I did another one. What was it? It was Fireball, another Pitbull song. I Know You Want Me, that one. And then I did like Mia by Bad Bunny and Drake just to throw something else in there. And so I performed that, and he was like, dude, this is hilarious. Cause I was just in character. Like my improv training was to the level of like, if you're gonna play a character, like you stick to your shit. Like don't drop it, go all the way. Mm-hmm. Like
you were Yuri's baby.
If this is true. Yeah, straight up. And then he was like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to set up an audition so that you can be on Zoom and you'll be with 6 of the executive producers. I'm going to put you through, like basically like, just like tell them like, hey, you need to see this guy, like give you like a golden star type of shit so they can see you immediately, and we'll see what happens. So I was in my parents' garage. I still was living with my parents. I think I was 25 at the time, 24, 25. And I turned on my camera. It was and I was in my garage, and I was like, I'm gonna bring my dog in the back so like she could like be there, and I'll interact with her like whenever, because like my dog is like a golden retriever, crazy. And I'm doing the other time, like, hey, how you doing, everybody? Hey. And I'm like ranking on these people. I'm like, hey, you look like Pitbull. This like bald guy. Like I'm just like literally like such a mess. Like you should never hire this person to do anything. And I'm just like ranking on them. I'm like, oh yeah, Katy Perry, dude. I have such a crush on her whenever I think about this. Like I was just like going on, just saying things that like no, I hadn't even thought about what I was gonna say. I just let improv take over. And then they're like, all right, you're gonna sing, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sing Fireball by Pitbull, and I did it. And I was just doing like dances, and like I started grabbing my dog. I started dancing with my dog. And they were just cracking up. Like they loved it. And then, they didn't think it was fake. They thought it was like a real human being.
The only ones that knew
was me and Josh.
Right.
And we both were like, we're gonna go all the way on this, right? Cool. Right. Sick. So they put like Yuri's Bell Garcia. Like everything was like, another birthday just in case they would like figure it out.
That's awesome.
Everything was just like legitimately fake. And they were like, okay, we're going to send you to Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan. And I was like, okay. Okay, perfect. I was like, no way.
Oh my God. You know what I mean? I'm just noticing on the American Idol video that it did say Uriel.
Yeah. No. I literally became famous without me being famous. And then only in Dade, like, helped me, like, have some sort of, like, you know what I mean? And I was like, why the fuck did I do this? Like, I got the chance to be on national TV as a pseudonym. And I was just like, yeah, let your improv man, Susan Messing told you to stick to your shit. And I was like, dude, I could have, like, whatever. I don't regret a minute of it.
No, it's worked out for you.
No, it's worked out pretty well. And I've, like, got another shit through that. It's been fun. But, yeah, so I went to, and then they sent me to San Diego. That's where they were doing the auditions. And they're like, you can have one guest. We usually like bring like 5 if you want to bring your family. But you can only have one. And I was like, I'm not going to bring my mom. I'm not going to bring my dad. Like, they're going to fuck this whole thing up.
That's true. You gotta be somebody who's in on the joke.
Yeah. Right? So I brought Albie, one of my best friends who also does comedy with me. And he co-hosts the podcast that we used to have called Dr. Bros. We might have it again. Who knows? And I was like, dude, I need you to do this. Just play my manager. Like, just play like you don't even, like, just those guys that don't really talk. And he like looks funny, like, and he was really like big. He was bigger at the time and he didn't care. Like, he was just in a happy relationship. He was just like really big. Like, his hair was like in a ponytail. Like, he looked like the perfect.
He looked like Luke.
You know what I mean? Like Danny DeVito vibes, like that type of thing. But like, you know, so I was like, play my manager, like wear like a tight, like, I'll show you. You can see it somewhere in there. Like he would wear like a tight blazer that wouldn't fit him. Like, wore this on TV with like this big ass belt. It was hilarious. And it was like, okay, cool. We're going. We had to be there for 2 weeks because of COVID. Like, the first 4 days, you couldn't do anything. We're just stuck in the hotel because that was like our quarantine time.
That's right.
And then we had to do everything. So we had to do like B-roll. We had to do, the interview part, like where they ask you all these questions. And I just was like all in on Yuri's Bell. Like, I was just like the guy. Like, the second I stepped foot in San Diego, I was Yuri's Bell. Like, Carlos didn't go there. Only in the hotel room with Albie. We were like, how the hell are we getting away with this? Like, what's going on? When people would talk to us, like when the kids would talk to us, because it's basically kids that go to these things. Like, I was the oldest one and I was fucking 24, 25. And it's like these TikTok kids that were like kind of viral in the pandemic that they asked to come. And then also because they applied, because everything was on Zoom. And ever since, now all the auditions are on Zoom. You don't gotta go in person anymore, which is great.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Like, it changed the game for like all those reality like competition shows, because now everybody can do it from the comfort of their home. And you're getting like legit weirdos, because, you know, it's people that wouldn't have, you know, so it's wild. I met some really interesting people. But, you know, you have like this like 18-year-old that like had a dream, like sings beautifully, and like she's on TikTok, and her mother is like one of these like, you know, like momagers and shit.
And there's Yuri's Bell.
Yeah, and then I'm just me with this big ass chain and like fucking big, like tight ass pants, like pescadores, out here with like
singing Pitbull,
open shirt. And they're like, oh, what are you singing? And she's like, oh, no, I'm singing Fire to the Rain by Adele. And I'm like, oh, I'm singing Fireball by Pitbull. And they're like, okay, cool. And they just have to play it off. And Albie, like, he's good at his shit too, so he would just stick to it. It was so hard not to break, but like, we just were in it. Like, we were just like on it the whole time. And then the day came, it was like 7 days after we got there that I had to be in front of the judges. And right before I got there, like, the main producer was like, bring the energy. You got this. And I was like, all right. So they opened the door as soon as Ryan, and I talked to Ryan Seacrest, like, we found, oh, how are you, Ryan? Like Albie even had a moment with Ryan, and it's hilarious. Like, Albie literally was like, where you get that shirt? Old Navy? Like, literally just random things that a Cuban uncle would ask you. You know what I mean? Like, to Ryan saying, hey, where you get that? That's a nice shirt. You got Old Navy? Like, literally, like, what?
Ryan was probably like, fucking Miami people.
Yeah, you know what I mean? This is Gucci, bitch. It's legit. It did look like an Old Navy shirt, to his defense. And then we went, and then as soon as they opened the door, Ryan was like, all right, ready? Ready. Okay. And they opened the door. I was like, "Que hola, mi gente!" Immediately. And they were just like, they like were turned on. Like, they were like, oh shit.
And the judges didn't know.
They had no idea.
They thought you were Yuri.
Nobody knew. There is a moment where people found out. Not people, but like the people from American Idol found out.
But like after the fact.
Well, I did that audition. I was in the audition room for literally 30 to 45 minutes. Like, which is unheard of.
With the judges.
Yeah.
With Katy Perry and Lionel Richie.
Yeah, like, I got out of there and they're like, I think you might be the person that's been there the longest out of anybody. And I only sang one song in front of them. It was just conversation, and they just kept throwing me shit, and I like had answers for it immediately.
But again, the improv training.
It's literally, I was just doing improv with like
with Katy Perry and Lionel Richie.
Right.
No big deal, right?
But I was so in character that I didn't give a fuck. Like I literally, like they would ask me questions, and I would be like, yeah, I'm doing this, and I would just go and rant, because the fun thing about this character is that he'll go in these like random like tangents, you know. So I was just doing that with them. Like they'd be like, "Oh, where did you get your inspiration?" I was like, "Oh, well, you know, my grandmother was a singer in Cuba. You know, like I love her. She's great. Like she used to like do that. I'm like, she's still alive. She's not dead. We're back in Cuba. Like, you know, not dead." And like I would just go into these like type of thoughts. And they loved it. Like they couldn't get enough of it. And then like Katie was like, "Oh, you're like a Latin Luke Bryan." I'm like, "Oh, howdy, how you doing?" Like I was just like really I was like milking it, you know? Like when I said hi to Lionel Richie, I was like, "Hello." Like I was just like kind of fucking with him. And like to Luke, I said howdy. Like I remember I thought of those little, like it was like how they write Curb Your Enthusiasm, that they write like bullet points and the rest is just kind of filled out with improv. And that's how I think of like when I do like other little projects or sketches too. Like I think about it like that. And yeah, dude, so I got in, I did that, I did Fireball by Pitbull, I like did the whole thing that you can see on my Instagram, it's like the third pin post, and I got on my knees, like, but I even got like Luke Bryan to get up and start dancing with me. Yeah. Which is like, once that happened, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a thing, but I couldn't even register it. I was just like, you're dancing like this, now come over here, you're doing it wrong. Like, I was just like on it. And I had like my little Bluetooth speaker, like everybody usually has like a piano player.
Oh, that's right. They come with like the music.
Which is like Bruno Mars's piano player. And like I had to practice with him. This is something that didn't get on TV because they didn't even record it, but like we each had an hour to rehearse with, oh my God, Presley or something like that was his name. Cool guy. And me and Albie both were in there, and I was sitting there as my manager, like with his belly all out, like while I'm rehearsing with him, he's playing piano. And Albie's just like, "Yuri, come here." Like straight up, like in front of this guy, he's like, "He's not working for me, bro." I got rid of the piano guy. And I'm not kidding, because Albie said that, and then like other producers were like, "Yeah, just let him have a Bluetooth speaker. Like it's gonna be better." And then I just put the instrumental that I downloaded off YouTube, a Fireball. And that's what the song that was playing in there, like in a Bluetooth speaker. Like once I finished, I was like, okay, let me turn off the bat. Let me save the battery. Like I literally said that at the end. And then they talked to me forever.
Can you imagine you would have gone to Hollywood?
I did.
You did go to Hollywood?
That's what I was going to say. You broke the story up. Dude, I'm in there, right? And then Luke Bryan is like, they turn around, they're like, okay, we have to decide. And Luke Bryan's like, doesn't say anything. He's like, yes. And I'm like, no. I'm already like, no, this is not. Like,
you're like, this went too far.
What are you talking about? Shut the fuck up, dude. Luke Bryan, stop playing with me. And Katie's like, oh, you know, I don't want to, I feel like I don't know what to do. Like you're great. Like I love your energy, but like, I feel like if I put you through, like no one's going to trust me. And I was like, I trust you, Mama. I trust you. I trust you. And then she was like, but I'm going to have to say no. And then what I answered like went viral for like 2 months after I was like, but why? And then like that became like a little gif. And I was like, but why, Mama? And then I just like was trying to convince her. Like that's how, like trying to convince fucking Katy Perry as this guy was just like great. And then Lionel's like, I was like, I'm definitely not going to get through. Like Luke's just fucking around. And then Lionel goes, yep. I like everything you're doing. I love the whole thing. I think you're great for the kids. I think America's going to love this. It's a yes for me. And I was like, what? Like, Carlos came out a little bit, and I was like, okay. And then Luke's like, no way. Like, they didn't even realize what they just did. Like, they were like, oh, fuck.
And they were not in on this.
No, I don't know.
So you legitimately got through to Hollywood.
Yeah. They gave me a golden ticket. No. I mean, I didn't know. The guy didn't know. He's like, dude, I have no idea. Like, this was not the plan. So I don't know.
You were just there to create like a cute little viral moment.
That's it. Like fucking, what's his name? Will Hung. Yeah. He did the She Bang. Right. Which that was real. That's just who that guy is. Like that wasn't set up.
But that was the intention. Like create something like that.
Of course. That was the thought behind that. And then they did that, and they were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, great. You're going to Hollywood." And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." And I was like, I said something to Katie. I forgot what it was. Something like, you're gonna see mama, you're gonna see, like something like that. And then that was in November of 2020. And then in January of 2020, in mid-December of 2020, I had to fly back again to go to Hollywood Week. And this week I couldn't go with a guest. It was just me. So I was like, bro, what the fuck? I'm gonna have to do this on my own, like just be with my own thoughts, like in this hotel room. Like this is some like fucking Heath Ledger shit. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Like what the fuck?
This is very like Joaquin Phoenix filming his,
on the documentary. I was in my room, like out here, like rehearsing, and it was like grueling because we had to perform in the Dolby Theater, which is where the Oscars are fucking played. Like, and literally had to perform at the Dolby Theater. I'm like, this is how I get to the Dolby Theater? Like, this is not how I thought about this would happen.
Hey, but you're there.
But I was there. So I was like, fuck it. Like, it is what it is. And, yeah, dude, for like 3 weeks. And I even hired like what do you call it? A choreographer and everything. So I could have a choreography and have a whole thing. And this time I did I Know You Want Me, because I was like, what other song could I do that's a Pitbull song that's widely recognized and I could still get away with doing it and like just like skip the part where he says he's like gonna fuck all the girls or whatever. So like not the whole, yeah, exactly. So it was either that one or Holiday Inn, which that one's basically I couldn't do that on national TV. Or a family show. Exactly. I wish that would have been amazing. Can you imagine? In a family friendly show in ABC, and which is Disney. Like Disney presents Disney. Yeah. You really think about it. He's gonna be with the Disney princesses.
You should tour.
I really
the
should.
Magic Kingdom.
I really should. Not only that, I should be on Disney on Ice. That's my goal as Yudi's Bell. So. Long story short, which I've made it long. It's just the longest. It's the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, truly. But it was an incredible experience. While I'm in there, while I'm like doing
Hollywood
this,
Week.
yeah, it's Hollywood Week. While this is happening, I had posted a video the day before. So the day before I posted this video, that was me doing different Spanish accents on the internet. Like I posted it on TikTok and Instagram, and it's me doing different Spanish accents. Like I was like in New York, and this girl was like asking me, "Oh, you're an actor? Can you do like accents?" And then she recorded me doing these accents. Like she was like Mexico, and I was like, "¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo estás?" Like I was just doing accents, like Colombia, Cuba, all these accents. And then Cuba was basically Yudi's Bell. I was like, "Hey, go on!" Like that was what that was. I posted that. It didn't pick up any traction on TikTok till the day after. I posted on TikTok the day after. I'm not kidding. It got like 3 million views on TikTok within like 24 hours or like 2 million views, something like that. And that is how Only in Dade found me. They picked it up. They posted the video on Instagram. Oh, this is happening while I'm in the fucking other side of the country. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
You don't really even know what's happening.
I'm freaking out. Like, I'm like, Only in Dade just posted me. Like, this is crazy. Like, I look up to this stuff. Like, Marcelo was on here. Like, he's killing it.
Wait,
like,
I'm Only in Dade thought you were Yuri Bell.
No, Only in Dade. Yudi's Bell wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
Because, like, no one had seen Yudi's Bell.
That's right. It hasn't aired yet.
It hasn't aired yet. This aired in February. I recorded it in November. So,
that's right.
No one had any clue what the hell Yudi's Bell was. So, like, that was nothing. I just did this video. I was like, I'll put some content up. I was just starting into, like, content creating. Right. I was just, like, a theater, stage, improv kid. So, like, I didn't really do, like, content like Mario or these people that have done it forever. So, I was like, I'll put this up, see what happens. And I posted that. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, what's going on? But I couldn't do anything about it. Like, yeah, Only in Dade this. Yeah, give me your number. Like Randy sent me his number, or and he's like, oh, let's work, let's do something. I like what you're doing. And yeah, so I did that, and I didn't know what was happening. And then I did the thing. I performed in the Dolby Theater. Like it was like Hollywood Week, everything is like all fake on TV, but it's like, okay, all right, next round of 6, whatever. Like they pick 6 people, they put you up. At this point, I'm pretty sure they knew they were going to say no because of the fact this is what happened. I performed my song. I think I crushed it. Like the song was, I was like, oh fuck, I think I pretty much crushed this shit. Like cause there's no audience because of COVID.
Right.
So it was just the contestants. They all stood up and clapped after I finished. But they obviously thought I was funny, like silly, but like I legitimately crushed the performance. Not even gonna like fan myself, but it's true. I rehearsed it forever. So
you had a choreographer.
I literally, so I was like, oh, that crushed this shit. And they're like, okay, great. And everybody that was going in Hollywood Week, the judges wouldn't say anything to them afterwards. They're just like, thank you. Next. For me, I perform and they're like, yours now, come back here. Like you look Brian says, and I'm like, okay, what happened? And he's like, quick question. Who is Carlos Hernandez? And I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, who is Carlos Hernandez? And then I'm like, oh, that's my birth name. Like it's Yuris Bell is like my stage name, you know, like Lady Gaga is Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, you know, and that's like her name. I'm like a Pimple. Like Pimple is not like that's not a real human. Like Pimple is like a little dog, right?
I love that you're like, no, I am going through with this. Like,
I'm not kidding. In that second, I could have been like, yes, I'm Carlos Hernandez. I'm a comedian from Miami, and like be which I really could have done, and maybe that would have done something more, maybe in some other world. I don't know. But I literally was just like, dude, I can be, Susan Messing, which is like a great improviser, just came into my head and she's like, dude, stick to your shit. So I just stuck to my shit. I was like, there is a chance of this happening. I knew that might happen, but it was an off chance. I was like, they're not gonna, why would they do this? Like, why? They're gonna fuck up their own shit. Like, they're the ones who basically hired me with no money, but like, they basically got me.
Right. They picked you.
Yeah. Well, Josh did, but you know what I mean? So I was like, you're not dumb. Like, you know, this is probably a joke. So don't like screw your own thing up. So I was like, all right, really? Cool. You want to play? Let's play. So we kept going. And like she's like, really? And then he pulls up the video, like the Spanish accent video, like on TikTok. Somehow a producer found it and like said, they're like, oh my God, this is going to make TV, like, or whatever. And then that's how they tried to get me. And they just wanted me to say that I was Carlos so bad. And I never did. Like, I didn't.
You never
at
did.
all. And I was like, Lionel, mira lo que están doing. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? What are they doing here? Come on. Like, I was like trying to get Lionel. Lionel.
But you didn't, but when you're doing American Idol, don't you have to fill out applications or some shit like that?
I filled out the application as Yuris Bell Garcia. I did a COVID test as Yuris Bell Garcia.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding.
That is amazing. I love this. I love this.
This is fantastic.
No, there's like, we have some, like, something in the works about this. We recorded like BTS on this. Hopefully someday we'll make it come out if we like produce it properly. But dude, it's wild. I literally filled out a COVID test as Yuris Bell Garcia, and it came back and it was like Yuris Bell Garcia negative. Like, it was like, great, this person doesn't exist. Like, it's not a thing. There's a baseball player called Yuris Bell Garcia, which, sorry that I'm now the top search instead of you, bro. But yeah, dude, it was wild. It was a wild experience. And then because that happened, like, obviously they didn't put me through.
Right.
But I don't know if they didn't find that. I don't know what might have happened. I'm gonna be honest.
You're right.
Legit. You could have been Kelly Clarkson.
Hey, listen, Lil Pump is a thing. All these people, like,
Stranger Things have happened.
Right on that, bro.
Stranger Things have happened. That is probably one of the best stories we've ever had told on this show.
It's crazy, dude. Like, I still can't believe that happened, and I like put it off as like nothing because I like want to do so much more than just this character.
Right. But I'm glad you told him, because I knew about the American Idol thing, but I didn't know that it had it had these legs.
That's layers.
Right. That it had this reach that, like, you went to Hollywood.
Yeah, dude. The thing is, once they gave me that golden ticket, I was like, oh, this is wild. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this right now? Like, what's going on? And like, it's not like I really was a fan of American Idol. Like, I never really sure, I know like the funny parts that you see on YouTube, like when they say no. And I was like, okay, let's do it, you know? And that thing has like a reach. Like, I made a fake account for the character and everything. Like, it grew like 4,000 followers in like a matter of like, as soon as I came on the air.
Wow.
Because they put your Instagram on there now as well. And I was like, damn, I should have just gone as Carlos. But I mean, what was I going to do? Embarrass myself singing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could have been, it would have been dumb. I wouldn't have done what I did if I was just.
But that's a great flex. You're like Katy Perry. That's not your book. That's not her name.
Yeah, Katie, of course it's not. I didn't even know if it was. I just said that. Like, that just came out of
her real name.
No, and then I literally was like,
I think it is Katie, but it's like Katie Hudson or something.
Yeah, something like that. Or like,
I just brought up stage name.
Yeah. I don't even know if Luke Bryan, if that's his real name, but I brought up him and I brought up Pitbull. I was like, Pitbull is not real. Come on. Pitbull's name is Armando. He's not a little dog. He's like a big, he's a guy. And like, I just like said a bunch of super, like, it was crazy. But then afterwards.
It's a little origin story, my friend. Like,
it's wild. But then afterwards, like they do like the after interview, like when they're like telling you like, oh, like what happened or whatever. And I was like, no, nothing. And they're like, oh, so who's Carlos? And they still tried to like keep getting me to say it. And I remember that day I called Josh. I was like, dude, did I fuck up? Like, should I have said I was Carlos? Like, I don't know if I did. And I was like, nah, dude, like you did fine. But like,
did that stuff air though?
Nah, that stuff didn't air. They only put me like if I was still Yuris Bell. So like I did like my first episode. I had 12 minutes. Like they had given me 12 minutes of airtime in an hour show. Which is wild. The winner of that season only got 6 minutes in his audition. And he was right after me, which is pretty funny. Shout out to, oh my God, what was his name? Casey Beckham. He's great. Country singer. I like know him as Carlos now, which is cool. That's the cool part too. Like I met people that like, are dope dude, like pretty dope ass people. And like now I'm like, I know them as Carlos. And before I had to meet them as like this character, I was like, no, dude, like we were like the same age, like, you know, like in like 24, 25, like, right. And like I just had to be this character. I was like, dude, dude, I'm like you. Like I'm actually cool. I think like, right. Wow. I'm not this weirdo.
I would have also been a little worried for my friend because I at some point, like especially at the minute that you're like revealed, I'd be like, oh fuck, what if he gets fired? Like, right. what if he gets in trouble because he, you know,
who Josh?
Who set me up for this. So, like, I can also understand you being like, I need to commit to this Yuri Sped thing because
for sure. Like he put me in this position, I'm not gonna fuck him over. Right. You know?
Like, if I say, okay, it's me, like, the implication is also on your friend Josh. Also, potentially,
of course.
Yeah.
If I would have gone up there and said, no, my name is Carlos Hernandez. Like I don't even know what value that would bring. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's just my name on television, but it would have just made it seem like, oh, so you just made us believe that to just take it away from us. So
but again, nobody could have imagined that would have gone as far as it did.
Of course not. So and then
and the thing is, you didn't do all this to get on TV.
Not at all. I didn't.
But that's how it would have looked if you would have.
Of course,
like confessed, quote unquote. You know,
this is like a character who's been alive like for like freaking like what 4 or 5 years, like 4 years really, and then. Yeah, 5 years down. Time goes really fast. But yeah, dude, I did it as it was just a joke, honestly.
Well, everybody go check out the American Idol clip of Yuribel Garcia.
Yuribel, yeah.
Yuribel Garcia.
You just put American Idol
singing Pitbull's greatest hits.
Like, basically, dude.
Did Pitbull ever reach out to you?
Well, ironically, I had worked with Pitbull in a commercial for Boost Mobile. July of 2020. Like we both worked together and like he you know had like his contact and shit. And like I'm cool with him now. Like we're cool. I don't know. At some point, like when like I first like you know like spoke to him after that happened, like I'm not sure how he felt about it. To be fully honest with you, like I feel like there was something like this kid's like fucking with me type of shit, and then like he like got to know me and like we're cool now. But like at some point, I don't know. Yeah, because we had just met like 3 months. I went on the show, so like it's is he trying to fucking play me? You know what I mean? Like like a Chico from 305 at the end of the day. So like you know that's his.
Because I'm saying, I mean, a nice little like maybe content of Pitbull and Yuribel would be kind of cool, you know.
Oh, trust me, I've tried to make it happen multiple times, but he didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Oh,
but you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But now, you know, let's also talk about. I mean, obviously, you know, you do a lot with Only in Dade.
I do, yeah.
Which you know, as fellow Miami boys, we're very familiar
with burning cars. They have a lot of other content.
I feel like. Since you and even Marcelo joined, you know, they've gotten more content other than burning cars.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Of course.
For that. Because and we told them this when they were here. We were just like, you know, you guys are like per capita our one source for, we know where all the burning cars are.
Correct.
In all of South Florida.
It's funny now, like now we have like a thing that's like, I think we posted too many today. Like it's like, just there's just always burning cars. But yeah, it became more than, honestly, dude, I've been on the page. Like I said, I basically got hired, quote unquote, like while I was in this Hollywood week, because like Lenny was like reached out and he's like, dude, let's work together. And then I got back into Miami like December 16th. My birthday's December 18th. He was like, what do you think of doing? I met with him and I was like, I think we should do like on the street interviews. Like there's a lot of shit that's going viral that's like on the street and we're not really doing that much of that. And Johnny Trabbs actually did like one time he like went to Flanagan's to talk to people about the Heat. Like there was like the Heat was playing.
That one.
Yeah. And that was the only other thing they had done like that. And I was like, I feel like we could do that. Like, just like individual interviews, like just focus on like, we'll find crazy people. Like I'm sure I can. I'll fuck with them. Like I'll make them feel like, even if they're being dumb as hell, I'll make them feel like, you know, they're the star.
Like the jaywalking stuff.
Kind of like that. Right. And I was like, with my improv shit, I feel like it would go well. So, cause he was like, what can you bring to the table type of shit? Like that was like the whole energy. And I was like, I mean, I think this is kind of it. I'm not going to just do accents forever. Like I can't just be like, Mexicans do this and Cubans do that, which honestly, a lot of people have made a living doing that on the internet. Right. And I regret not doing that either. But here's me trying to be original and do fun things.
You're better than that.
Yeah. Well, that's how I think about it. And then I see all these people that are like, you know, selling out and doing all this shit, and I'm like, cool.
But what's the real longevity of that? I mean, some people can do it for
some people
years,
do it forever. Like there's this chick that did it like,
but it has a return on investment eventually.
I think so. I don't know. I don't want to. I could have done it for longer. People say I could have done that. I should have kept doing that, and I did it. And I did do videos with that, like. Like I replied to TikTok comments or whatever with videos, and then I would post them on Instagram, and they did well. But I just felt like I was like, oh man, this is like the easiest form of like me doing this. Like, I don't want to do it like this.
Yeah, you're not a one-trick pony.
Yeah, and then like that, and then the Yuri's belt. So it's like so many little one-trick pony things that I was like, and I did it for like as long as my heart was happy with doing them. And then I just was like, like comedy's my shit. And then like, I want to do more of that. But with Only in Dade, it was, so the day of my birthday, they were like, okay, let's go on the street and do this. And I turned like 26, like while I was interviewing like a random drunk guy. And not even joking.
As one does.
Correct. So it was ever since then. And like, I just been doing that. And then like I don't even remember who the first celebrity we interviewed. I think it was like Dave Grutman that like, he like invited us to like his class in FIU. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Grutman and the group hospitality team. They've been incredible to all of us. But they invited us. So Grutman does this class at FIU called like the Grutman Experience or something like that. Okay. And it's like a 5-week or 6-week like class that it's like a really cool thing. Like they do it like on the rooftop, and it's like he brings all these like great entrepreneurs, and like he's brought like Drake, DJ Khaled, like great people. Mm-hmm. And then the first celebrity I interviewed was like David Beckham.
Oh wow.
Which is crazy. All I asked him was,
where do you go from there?
Correct. And I like played soccer when I was like in middle school until like, I was too fat to, but then I kept going, and that's just what happens when you play soccer. But yeah, dude. So I interviewed them. It was just like it was a question. I was like, cause they were like, all right, he has 15 seconds. And I was like, oh, well, what's your favorite word in Spanish? I don't know what the hell I said, but that little video like had numbers. It was like, he was like, Dale. And then like he said Dale with like an accent. And I was like, oh, this is great. And that's literally the clip we used. And then we started getting like requests to do like interviews with celebrities and like doing all this stuff. And that's what we do now, like celebrity interviews once in a while, and then like on the spots, and I also try to like, I help with the creative thing, creative direction of the page.
Yeah. No, I mean, you definitely are man about town, because I mean, anybody who follows you on Insta sees that you're out and about, but mm-hmm. again, I come back to what I was saying earlier, and I think this does belie your improv training. Mm-hmm. You have an ease with it, and I think that's also when you do these on the street things, you're listening because you have to be listening. You're not trying to get to what you want to say. Uh-huh. You're literally trying to understand what the hell's about to happen, mm-hmm. and where can I go?
Right.
Not everybody can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just like the yes-anding of like improv, and you have to listen, and like the other person's more important than you. Like you got to think like your scene partner is more important. So like listen to them. And my scene partner is, the people I'm interviewing. So like
the drunk crazy guy,
crazy people, and you gotta make these people feel like they're like like the star. Like you gotta make them shine so that you can shine. So like all like the most famous interviews I've done, or like the ones that have gotten the most viral, are where I'm just like letting them do their thing and like reacting honestly, truly. Like it's great. Like there's this one interview, like my favorite one I've ever done is this girl at Ultra. She was, I don't know if you remember seeing this, but Ultra's happening again this week. I can't wait to get something like that. Like in 2 weeks or whatever. I can't wait to get something like that. Cause this interview, dude, like I had such a good time editing that. Cause like it was just one, it was this girl. She started the interview without me even asking her anything. She just looked for me and she's like, I want to do an interview. And I like was trying to avoid her, cause like you kind of avoid those stuff because they're just trying to be like hammy and shit. Right. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. And she was like, hola, yo soy Amanda. Mommy, I know you're not proud of me being on Only in Dade, but mommy, I made, like, it was just like from there. And dude, she did not stop talking, and everybody just kept interrupting. Like random people, like a guy selling like Coke, a guy over here like high as hell that you couldn't understand. He was like from Russia, and he was like, just, it was just, this is so good right now. Like, just random things. Some guy who's like, my Instagram, you guys want to follow me or take pictures? Like, randomly comes to the mic and says that, while this girl at the end of the day is like, and mom, just so you know, I'm gay. I had to tell you. And like, she came out.
On Only in Dade with you.
Like, came out. Like, it's the first time her mom found out that she was a lesbian.
In between all these other things
happening. In between, like, the madness going on around Ultra closing up that day. And I was just reacting, honestly, and asking little things and making little funny remarks. And I was like, oh man, this is like gold. Like it's like, and it was like, oh, you guys are just copying Side Talk or whatever. Side Talk is like this page from New York that does it. But it's like, that's just the best type of thing. And it was just all in basically one take. Like I think that video was like 2 minutes when I recorded it, and I chopped it down to 1 minute, and everything was just perfect. That's like one of my favorite, like whenever just like seeing the reality of what people are. That's how I treat those interviews. Not just like questions like, oh, how big is your dick? Or how many people have you slept with? Like, which is like super silly. But you know what, though?
I think that one of the reasons why that type of content is so popular,
right,
is because it's sort of refreshing, and it's the opposite of most of the other content that's on social media. Yeah. That's so curated, and all these like, you know, Instagram models that everything is so like curated and perfect, and the lighting and the this, that. It's not filtered. Real. It's not like they live a filtered life. So literally. The fact that you have these like these messes, and you're kind of like taking people along for the ride. Yeah. Which is, in essence, is what Only in Dade does, right? Correct. They show the chaos of Miami. Yeah. That's why I think it's been so popular, because it's sort of like the antithesis of all this other crap that you see on Instagram that we all know is fake, but we fall for it, you know?
Yeah, it's just, you know, you're part of the Matrix.
Yeah, you're part of the Matrix.
Pretty much, it is what it is.
But what is not fake is your stand-up, and you have a show coming up on the 15th of March.
I do. Right? I'm handling the Improv March 15th. VIP tickets are sold out. I think there's like about 30-something tickets left I checked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, last time we sold out.
One show or?
It's one show. I'm doing one show. I'm hoping to do like 2 or a weekend, like by the end of the year. I'm going to a lot of places like all over the country, like in the next few months. So hopefully build some more shit there. But yeah, this time it's only that Wednesday. I'm recording it. I don't know what I'm going to do with the footage. Maybe I'll sell it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll see. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I'm recording it like professionally. And it'll be great to have anybody come in. It's fun. It's the first time I'm doing it as a headlining show. I usually do my show as a talk show, just cause like I wasn't as confident in my stand up. Like when they offered me a night at the Improv, like I had just done like it was like July 2021 when I first did it. Right. And I was like, how do I manage to put like all the shit that I do in one show? And I was like, I can just do it like as a talk show, and like my monologue 10-15 minutes will be just me doing like some stand up, and then I'll have my friends guest, and like Albie, who like is my co-host, like as that like Andy Richter to Conan O'Brien type of vibe. Right. I have a band on stage. So I had like 3 different guests. I have a musical guest. Julie Spell performs with the musical guest at the end. So it's an experience, but like it's really grueling to put together, and it costs a lot of money to do as well. Imagine, yeah. So I was like, this time I just want to like, I have an hour that I'm confident about. I have like new material about like going to Dubai, like, you know, like there's a lot of cool stuff that's happened in my life that I'm like, I have legitimate good jokes about that have been working well. And I'm like, I can just put this in an hour. And the hour is called Best Thing That Ever Happened to You. And you'll see why there's like a callback joke through the hour that makes sense with that. It's fun. It's like, I'm really proud of it. So I'm excited. I obviously have like friends that are opening up for
March
me.
18th.
March 15th.
It's a Wednesday. Unfortunately,
Wednesday.
We have trivia that night.
Wow.
Oh man, can we reschedule trivia? I think I would rather do this.
I mean, I'd rather do this too.
I'm sure we can figure something out.
Yeah.
I will let you know.
Okay,
I will let you know. I'm sure we can push it back to another Wednesday or something.
Yeah. Yes. It's on the record. I'd rather do this.
Okay, good. Come out. It's gonna be a fun
Not that we wouldn't want to do trivia.
We love
our beat culture. We're like,
yeah. No, but it's a beat culture, right?
Yeah, beat culture. We do trivia.
Nice. Yeah, dude. I think I've done like a comedy show there 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, they do a bunch of. They do comedy. They do music.
Yeah, they're awesome. They've been really, really good to us.
They're great.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, you know, we love doing trivia because they've been very good to us.
No, they're great. It's crazy how like all these like breweries. It's a brewery, right? Beat culture. Yeah. Like have like started to be like stand up, like, you know, they
become performance spaces.
It's awesome, dude. Yeah. Like when I first started stand up, like in 2019, there was like maybe like 5 places you could perform at, and this was only like 3-4 years ago. And now it's like the boom in Miami. I'm like super proud of it, and like what we're like building, like another comedians like Brittany Brave, which is like a great comedian. I don't know if you know about her. She's awesome. Yeah, you should have her on. She's really funny. One of my really good friends. Great comics in Miami that are like just working and like trying to put a name to the city. Mm-hmm. Or like Marcelo, like now in SNL, like which is like a national stage or like something like that, or like just anybody. Luis Diaz, he's also a great comedian as well. Like we're trying to put on for the city and also like keep on making it big and like national scale. And it's just awesome that like these
when he comes out on Weekend Update,
Marcelo,
he's
crushes, dude.
Awesome.
There's a little bit of pride that comes out. Like when I see him there, and it's like, man, you know what? That's quote unquote one of us. You know,
it's just like a great feeling, and like the fact that no one's like ever truly spoke great Spanish and like that type of show, you know what I mean? Like when there's like the 4 like
the
other
Hispanic he did with
people.
Pedro Pascal.
That's what I'm saying. He literally spoke mostly Spanish.
That skit was like 80% Spanish.
Yeah, and he helped write. I think he like wrote that with Pedro and like 2 other writers. When I spoke to him, he told me that. Wow, it's wild. It's like wild, like the fact that like he doesn't even realize like you talk, like I still like he's my boy, you know what I mean? Like, so like we hang out or whatever. And like, I don't think which is really a good thing about him. He doesn't like let that shit get to him. Like he's just like about the work. He's only like 25 and it's like, man, it's amazing. Like what that generation of like when that was born like in 97, just like 3 years after me, like they're so great. Like their focus level. I'm like, how do you not have more ADHD? And like, how is this working out?
Because they were all raised on Ritalin.
Like I guess. I don't know. It's like, and I have a lot of friends that are like just killing it at that. Like my friend Gio Rosado, he's like a guy that has like he like has like 100,000 followers on Instagram. He just interviews like basically like reggaeton artists and stuff. And like he's crushing just all these people that are like of that generation. That like they crush it, and it's great to watch. You know
well, I gotta say, it is great to watch you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You are crushing it.
Thank you.
110%. Like again, like I said earlier, we don't just invite anybody on the show.
Thank you.
We actually have to like you because
good.
Yeah, because
we're selective that way.
We're selective. It's like I've always said this and off camera, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I could probably, if we really wanted to, get like one of those like Real Housewives of Miami.
I feel like you can. Have you gotten one?
No, because I don't like those shows.
Ah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure we know somebody who knows somebody, but
I don't watch
cool. But I don't watch a show. I don't get it, so I wouldn't invite them on. Okay. But you,
okay, I got you. I appreciate
you know what I mean. It's that thing of like, we're not just trying to have people on to say like, oh, we got
this one. No, right. This is great. I mean, we're literally in a children's playground that's filled with BTS albums. So I don't think that's what you're looking for.
We're good. We're good.
No, we're fine. No, I'm super. And if I was gonna say there is this housewife that I do know that came to a show, and she's actually super cool people. Her name's Alexia. She's like a housewife of Miami. That's someone that I would recommend if you had a housewife.
Again, I'm sure she's a lovely person, but it's one of those things where it's like, because I don't watch the shows.
And I don't either.
We like to bring people that we're fans of.
Right.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I don't know what I'd talk to this person about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. I wouldn't be able to have a conversation.
Right. Because like the whole point of our podcast is that it's like conversations, like shooting the shit. You know, it's very informal. So, you know, we've had people on the show that like we're big fans of. I mean, I always say like one of my dream guests was Gina Torres. She did Suits on USA with Meghan Markle that show. Yeah. She's now on Lone Star. 901 Lone Star. She's like really big in the sci-fi world. And
nice. Does she live in LA or she lives here?
She lives in LA.
Oh, okay.
And she's Cuban. And when we
my god, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. When we brought her on the show, I was like, okay, I gotta keep it professional because like I was like totally like
fanboy.
Like big time around her. Because we like to bring people here that we're fans of, that we like their work, that we like them, to have a good vibe. Because if not, then you know that's just not the point of the show. You know?
Yeah. No, that's great. I love that. It's good. I mean, you guys have it's cool, man. Like it feels very chill. Like we're just chilling.
Yeah, and now that you need it, because you have your own audience, but we have a platform and we have an audience, so we always like to make sure that they know what's out there. We have listeners in like Cambodia.
What?
Yes, and like Australia, and
for real?
Yes,
but like, and they're not like originally from Miami.
A lot of them are from Miami that they moved around the world. That they let us know. I don't know if all of them are.
I don't know if our listeners in Russia are originally from here.
And then the thing is that when we would get these analytics of like these countries around the world, I'm like, oh, that was a mistake. That was like, somebody in Cambodia that came across our podcast. Yeah. No, but it's consistent. So I'm like, okay, people really are listening.
That's wild in Cambodia. That's my dream for people to hear me in Cambodia and like what I'm saying. And then just
now you can tour in Cambodia.
Yeah. That'd be great. So if anybody in Cambodia is listening, what language do they speak?
Cambodian?
I don't know. If I offended you, I'm sorry. But I would love to go to it's a country, right?
Yes.
To your country. So thank you guys for opening up my
That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was the only reason we brought you on.
Thank
you. I get that Cambodian.
I really need that Cambodian.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you for hanging on with the technical difficulties we had. Hopefully this interview gets recorded.
I hope it's recorded. That's all I can say.
It's recording. We'll see how it sounds. That's a whole other thing.
If Cambodian listener, if you're listening, let us know how it sounds, and then we'll know.
But okay, man. Again, thank you so much. Listeners, you can catch him on his Instagram, which is
CAHRLOHERNANDEZ. LOS. You can. I'm posting a lot of stuff on YouTube, which is at Carlos Hernandez Live. And on TikTok is CAHRLOL. The Carlos was taken. So
okay.
Yeah. But it's Carlos on Instagram mostly. That's what I use. My main platform.
March 15th.
March 15th. Come to the show. If you, I'm here in your podcast. I'm going to give you guys a little discount code. If you guys put the code CAHRLOS, which is Carlos CAHRLOS, you get a 20% discount on the tickets, and then you can get in there.
I mean, hello, great comedy.
Get in there. It's a fun time.
You can't turn that down.
On a Wednesday, it's spring break.
Yeah.
So, is it?
Oh, la locura.
Come on, dude. Let's go. Why would you want to be in the beach or any of these places? Come over here. Have some fun with us.
Air conditioning.
And there's air conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Air conditioning.
Hopefully.
What more could you ask for?
Yeah. With zero technical issues, which is crazy.
Wait till we get there.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
Wait till we get there. We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, man. Well, again, thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, guys, man. See you at the show.
Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.